The regular meeting of the Munhall Borough Council of February 18, 2025 is now in order. Roll call, please.
Mr. Shields.
Here.
Mr. Yunkins.
Here.
Mr. Eads.
Here.
Ms. Fry.
Here.
Mr. Votadilla.
Here.
Mr. Brennan.
Here.
Solicitor Lavashie.
Here.
Chief Fullard.
Here.
Chief Coles.
Here.
Mayor Falls.
Here.
Matt.
Here.
Bob.
Here.
Dave.
Here.
And here's
All present accounted for.
all present and counted.
Mr. Stool, you lead us in the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We had an executive session for personnel, finished it up around 5 to 7. Everything went well.
I didn't even get it.
Swearing in of the officer, presentation award for the county is, go ahead, he's not gonna make it tonight.
Yeah, she won't make it tonight. We'll have that
That's all.
presentation next.
We'll try for again for next month. Swearing in?
Okay, Officer Alvaro, there's someone up here, we'll do it right here on the podium here. We have a new officer, started last Sunday. I came up and swore him in the office, it was first day, just so we got it done, but we always like to do this in front of a regular meeting where they can bring family and friends. So, Officer, raise your right hand, repeat after me. I, Tate Obardo,
Tate Obardo,
swear to uphold
swear to uphold
and protect
and protect
all the bylaws
all the
of
bylaws
Munhall,
of Munhall,
volunteer wait. Of the, we'll get this fixed. Of the Munhall Police Department
of the Munhall Police Department
in the Borough of Munhall,
in the Borough of Munhall,
to protect
to protect
and serve
and serve
the community
the community
to the best of my capabilities.
to the best of my capabilities.
I will fulfill my duties
I will fulfill my duties
with safety,
with safety,
honor,
honor,
and dignity.
and dignity.
Okay, sworn before me, Mayor Robert Falls. Congratulations, Tate. Happy to have
We had a little discussion how to spell your last name, it kind of back and forth for a while. I think we got it right.
No big deal, however.
Congratulations.
Thank you guys.
Thank you for coming.
All right, to begin, before we do most of the other motions, we found it best just to approve the minutes from the previous council and workshops. I'd like the motion for approving the council meeting minutes for January 21st, 2025.
Have a motion, approve the meeting minutes?
Motion.
Second?
The motion?
All approved?
Aye.
Opposed?
And also workshop meetings, minutes from January 14th, 2025.
Motion?
Motion.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Passed.
We received the resignation of Councilmember Kevin Ondo last month. The council needs to vote to accept his resignation from council.
Motion to accept the resignation of Kevin Ondo from council?
Second.
Motion.
All in favor?
No.
Any questions on that motion? Reluctantly, Kevin stirred well. I talked to him, it wasn't a knee-jerk reaction, and he said it was best for him and his family, so that's what he wanted to do. Motion approved.
With regret.
The regret, exactly. Friends report. I saw on the news at Channel 11 around 5 o'clock that Munhall was looking into taking over the snow removal for the 31st Ward. It has been talked about about the last 5 weeks, 3 weeks, 2 weeks. But it's very preliminary. It's a possibility, but nothing's even close to being done. It wouldn't happen until next year, if anytime. It won't be this year. You're going to get a lot of questions about it because it's out there now. Other than that, that's all I have to say.
Bernie, I would like to make a comment. My feeling is, many of us who are aware of how narrow a lot of the streets are in Lincoln Place and steep, I feel that if Pittsburgh doesn't take care of its own, I don't feel that we should jump in right now. We have enough on our plate, is my thoughts, are my thoughts.
Well, that wouldn't be something till next year anyway, so I don't know.
It'll be here soon enough.
Yeah. All right. Mayor's report?
Right now, we're going to start our planning for, set up a meeting sometime in early March for our Memorial Day festivities. I talked to the chief and we're going to get a crime watch meeting together and it will be in April. So there's really not a lot to report on my end at this time, but you know, we've had a lot of things going on in Munhall Borough and a lot of things that, you know, some things we can't talk about and some things we can't talk about right now.
Okay, who's next?
Thank you, Alfred.
Solicitor's report.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I received a communication which I forwarded to the manager, and I believe he forwarded to council, from the council for the police bargaining unit, requesting that council consider some changes to our civil service rules. I would suggest that it's something maybe you discuss at the workshop with input from the chief. I can tell you, I've gone through it, I don't see anything troubling there, some of it's just updating. I think that the rules have not been updated due to recent changes in the collective bargaining agreement, and also a statutory update. Some of the language probably should be updated, so it's something that our Civil Service Commission would actually do. Any changes to the rules are done by the Civil Service Commission and ultimately have to be approved by this Borough Council. So if you don't have that, I would suggest that you get that from David and take a look at that and talk in conjunction with Tom and get his input and see what he thinks. Probably at a workshop may be best, and if everyone's in agreement. I don't have any problem with what I've read, but I can certainly follow up with everybody after you've had a chance to review it and be happy to do so. As a follow-up to the proposed tax exoneration program, Brett Solomon addressed this council in the public at last month's meeting about a tax forgiveness program that's being used in Homestead and the school district. And I think council, based on the discussions I heard, seemed like there was interest in potentially adopting a similar program here to allow a developer to acquire a dilapidated house that's sitting vacant and deteriorating, to renovate it and receive some tax breaks to put it back to use. So overall, the idea seems positive. One of the concerns was that Steel Valley School District had indicated they may no longer be interested in participating, and the participation is critical to the process working. I was informed that, in fact, the school is interested to continue with this. So I communicated with David. I said we want to be on board with the school and the homestead programs. I suggested that he contact the school district business manager and the homestead manager to obtain copies of their forms and program materials for everybody to review, so that we're all using the same program, and that's something then we could look to implement. So that's the progress on that, to the best of my knowledge. And that's all I have to report this evening.
Engineer's report.
Mr. President, don't really have anything new to report. For the Creek Street project, we're shuffling contracts back and forth. I don't know if you got them.
I've got them.
Okay. So the borough just needs to sign them, get them back to the contractor, and get a meeting with the Conservation District to kick things off. And then we met with Stash Construction for the manhole, the catch basin replacement project. Went over the punch list with them, me and Public Works did. So they're gonna come back out. They have a lot of concrete work to do, sidewalks to fix, once the weather breaks. That's all I have.
Okay, code enforcement.
You have a copy of my report. I'll briefly read over it. Occupancy inspection 16, lien letter 714, code enforcement issues letters that were sent out. So sidewalks 18, plumbing issue 1, motor vehicles 2, parking of vehicles, trailers 2, and containers 1. Had 5 court hearings, 1 was found guilty, a $200 fine. That concludes my reports.
Hey Dave, just a question. You talked about that fence above the field, whatever happened with that?
I talked to the guy, told him that fence was up there for at least 50 years.
So he's gonna let it go?
He hasn't returned, he hasn't called back or anything. I told him it was actually Mr. Pido's idea,
Right,
putting it up there, because he always used to complain about the number of foul balls that used to go up in his yard and blah, 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 so,
right. No, you didn't hear anything, whatever.
okay.
Public Works.
Yeah, yes, Mr. President. 7 out of 9 salt trucks are running. We're gonna get the other ones fixed by this week. We probably have about 1,300 ton of salt on our premises, and about 1,500 more to get before the end of the year. And I'm working with a guy to try to straighten out the heating and cooling in this building.
In this building.
In this building, yeah, he thinks there's dampers that are not opening, which lead to rooms being cold.
Okay. Yeah, you can go from one room to the other.
And there's
Like
23
the conference
different.
room, it's like you can hang meat over there.
Yeah.
It's really cold. It's crazy.
Chief Woolman. Got the conference room.
Police chief report.
Thank you, Mr. President. Council has a copy of my report. In the month of January, Munhall Police responded to 691 calls for service, made 32 arrests, conducted 31 traffic stops, and issued 27 traffic citations. Extra duty, officers worked 90 hours of extra details, 56 hours of regular overtime, and 65 hours of court time. That's all I have, unless you have any questions.
Anybody have questions for the chief? Council? Nope. Thank you, chief. Fire chief.
Thank you, Mr. President. You should have copies of both of my reports. Start off with, for the end of the year, for the yearly totals for 2024, we ended up for the year with 599 calls, which is 127 more than the previous year, which turns out to be an average of just under 50 calls per month. Our busiest month was June with 75 and February with 32. Our average times for the year from the time of call to the first unit en route was 4 minutes and 12 seconds, and for the first unit to arrive on scene was 6 minutes and 21 seconds, and we had a total of 17,135 and a half man hours for the year. There's a lot more. If you look through the report, I'm not going to go through it all about the list of classes and all the community service we did throughout the borough, so if you get a chance, please look through that. Have for January of 2025, we had a total of 50 calls, 29 in town, 21 mutual aid requests, and our average times from dispatch to en route was 4 minutes and 2 seconds, and to on scene was 6 minutes and 30 seconds. And that's pretty much it for now, Mr. President. If you have any questions.
How close are we to getting the number 4 pumper back?
The pump, I inquired with Keystone last week. They were expecting the pump this week. I have not heard from them. Once they get the pump, it really shouldn't be more than, say, about a month for them to get it in. The problem we're looking into is that it's been sitting outside at Keystone for this extended amount of time, so they're going to have to check all the seals, you know, and I'm sure that'll be a fight because they're going to try to bill us for that, and we're going to fight
How
that
long's it been there now?
since June.
Oh,
So, number ones should be back this week or early next week, so we should be good to go on that, so we're moving along.
okay, thank you. Manager's report.
First off, had a meeting a few weeks ago now with the county regarding putting speed humps on Ravine Street. This will be to kind of slow down traffic. There's a proposed 3 that we would be responsible for, and the county was responsible for 2. We're hoping that they will basically install them, and we just reimburse them for the ones we need installed, just to make it cheaper overall. They're suggesting 25-mile-an-hour pumps as opposed to 15-mile-an-hour, which the original report asked for. And that's moving forward. Hopefully, some of the next few months, we'll finalize that and get that installed sometime in the late spring. PA Small Waters is a grant that's opening up, it's currently open. And we're looking at a couple of things that we're trying to finish up our previous grant from 2020, I believe, for televising some of our stormwater lines. About $3,000 worth of work still needs to be done with that. Get that done this year, and then apply for a new grant focusing on repair of catch basins and then maybe some televising of additional stormwater lines, just to move that along. I'll work with the engineer and Public Works and our grant writer to get that applied for by the end of March, I believe, when it's due. Let's see, what else is critical right now? Oh, yeah, regarding the issue with salting and clearing snow from the 31st Ward. There was just one initial meeting, and as the President said, anything that would happen would have to make sure that it benefits the borough in terms of we're not spending money out of our own coffers to do it. And then I think it would, sometime in the next winter would be the very latest. So that's, if anybody has questions, I can provide more information, but for the most part, that's where we are. We have another meeting scheduled, I believe, this Friday with the city of Pittsburgh about that. I think that is everything pressing at this moment, but I might think of something that we continue.
Yeah, just jump in there.
Mr. President, anything on the Munhall Cares meeting? They want to use some space in the building yet, David?
Yeah, so the space has been cleared out, but the building is cold.
Okay.
As I mentioned at the workshop last week, the repairs to the boiler would be about $58,000.
Oh, no, in the new building.
Oh, the new building, okay, yeah. I haven't had a chance to talk with Public Works about that yet. We can probably do something quickly, but I would need to have an agreement drawn up with the solicitor
Sure.
to move forward with that. So I'll talk with him, we can maybe have something, a rough thing just for storage, at least initially, by next meeting.
And I bumped into our grants writer the other night,
Yes.
Dan, and is there something going on with the Main Street grant that we're gonna use some of that?
Yes, so we received $175,000 from two sources for Main Street.
Right.
And we're hoping to get another $1 million in total to really redo a lot of Main Street.
That make
But
up
we have
pieces.
$175,000, we can start using, once the weather gets better, some of the highlights of, I don't remember exactly what was discussed to focus on first, but some basic stuff we can get rid of, started right now.
I mean, I was thinking planters, receptacle.
Yeah, things like that, I mean,
Those are a couple things.
whatever's most critical, really, it's open, we just have $175,000 we can use on that.
That'll go quick, you won't get much.
Well, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because I know the Munhall Garden Club is interested, and they would like, if we do planters, they have some ideas, and they could probably help out and get some pricing on that too.
I'll talk with Public Works and Dan about the next steps for that.
Do we have a spot in this building that we have in mind for them to use?
Well, we have storage on the second floor, basically right above us,
Mm-hmm.
that is used for our own storage, but there's not that much in there, really.
Right.
That might be a good place, we could kind of establish some sort of temporary dividers so we can clarify what they can use and what we can't. So there's space we can use, but as we work with building out this building some more this year, we'll try to identify some other spaces, because there's a lot of space in this building, we just have to figure out, it does cost some to kind of get it
Right.
ready for storage.
Right.
Oh, one more
Yeah.
thing, that I'm gonna put them in contact with you, David.
Yeah,
I was talking to the county treasurer's office, and they would like to have one day a month where they could come up and use the office similar to how it was used by Senator Brewster, and they would be able to give fishing, have their fishing license, dog permits, for anything that the treasurer's office, the county treasurer would do. So, look, if I put them in contact, Mr. President?
yes,
Actually,
They might come up one day a month.
Actually, we're looking to move the tax collector.
I thought so too.
Yeah. That's
Okay.
very
we are,
room
but
for
what
it,
if
you know.
the mayor's office might be,
You can use my office.
Yeah, we'll
They wanna come in?
someplace, you can use the community room there.
Yeah, but the treasurer the county treasurer
sure.
would be interested in one day a month, and we could advertise it. Hey, this is a good month, come up and get your dog license, get your fishing license, your hunting licenses, and so forth.
Yeah, we have tentative plans to move Donna down here.
Okay. But Dave, I'll put them in contact with you this week.
We have no registered presenters tonight?
Nope.
Nope. Okay, public comments on non-agenda items. 3 minutes, come to the podium.
Len Cole, C-O-L-L. A couple of things. You got a stop sign on Main Street, and James Street. A lot of people running that stop sign. I seen a couple of cars almost got hit. The other one is on 22nd in Main Street. I know there was talks. There's a sensor. I know it's going to cost a lot of money to replace that sensor. I understand that. I was talking about putting stop signs up. Okay, is it better just to make the lights blinking red, that acts as a stop sign to get the traffic moving? That's all I have.
I have the answer for that. It's an ongoing problem up there.
Well, the grant for Green Light Go is due, I believe, this Friday. So we'll hopefully have some numbers put in for that particular problem. I need to get on top of that, but yeah.
Yeah, I hear about that all the time, especially from my daughter. I told her to go a different way.
No.
Any more comments, public comments on non-agenda items? Public comments on agenda items?
I have a comment on non-agenda items.
Okay. Okay.
So, it was mentioned about the old municipal building,
Mhm.
and there's no heat in the building.
Mhm.
And it cost $58,000 to make a repair to the building. We have a surplus of $1 million plus in the savings, and we have $800,000 in our checking account. And we don't want to make repairs, so we have heat in the building. I find that not acceptable. I think we owe it to ourselves to maintain the building, and we have people that want to use the building, and I understand that the building has been locked up for several months, and I understand it needs work done to it, but we're just going to let the heat go. Did we shut the water off into the building?
Yeah, it's been winterized.
So does the fire company have their own water line into the building?
Yeah, it's isolated from the building, there's shut-offs, I mean, so the water's still going to the borough building
It's coming through
and
the
coming
old
into
borough
the
building.
fire hall, but
Right.
I don't believe it's going anywhere else. But
So it comes, one line comes into the building, and it feeds the fire department and then the municipal, so it separates. So, my feeling is, we're abandoning our building and letting it go to dilapidation with no heat in it. This was the problem we had last year, where we found out that the heat was turned off unbeknownst to us. We have people that want to rent the building and use the building, and I understand that you, Mr. President, went through the building with our borough manager, but no one else went through the building with you. I would have loved to have gone through and
I've
walked
been
through
through it
with
before,
you.
Rick. I haven't been in 10 years.
I've been through it several times.
I haven't been there in 10 years.
I know that. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I think, I see a different point of view than you, where you think that it's, but then you think it's not worth putting any money into. I think it is worth putting money into. I think it should be preserved, and I think we should use the building. And it's not one person's vote, it's a whole council vote. It's not just, that's what we're gonna do. So
Who said that's what we're gonna do?
pardon me?
Who said that's what we're gonna do?
Well, we're not doing anything right now, and we're gonna let it go through the winter.
We
And we're not-
budgeted so much money for the building. It's in the budget. Was it $10,000?
$20,000.
$20,000. It was budgeted for that building, so I
Okay.
can tell you.
So does that mean if something arises that costs more than $20,000, we don't have expenditure money that we
Just telling you,
can spend on?
that was budgeted for that.
That doesn't mean that the budget is a, a budget is something to go by. It's not something that you just have to.
No, but it was a
stand
line,
by.
it was a line item for that building.
Right, so what if a line item comes up that we're not prepared for? Like Ravine Street, like the wall down there, or the things that
You're right,
happen.
I understand what you're saying.
So So we have more of an expense to fix the building, the heating system. Did we maybe even call someone else to look at the boiler bit and give us another estimate?
I talked to Bob, I don't know.
Well, I certainly think that we're no better than any other person that abandons their building. We're no better than anyone on any X amount of street in Munhall that just lets their building go to dilapidation. It's embarrassing. That's how I feel.
Great.
And I think we owe it to the borough to maintain it and use the building. Otherwise, if we're not going to do that, then we have real issues with the building itself totally.
Sure.
The fire company shouldn't be in the building if it's not safe, like you walked through and said, oh, it's not safe in here.
Never said it wasn't safe. Never said it.
You said it
I
was.
said there's wires hanging, there's everything. You know.
Wires hanging was in the radio room where they pulled all the equipment out,
Mhm.
and they left the wires hanging.
Hey, Rick, I'm not here to argue with you tonight.
I'm
You
not
got your
arguing.
opinion across, okay.
I'm trying to make a point
You got your point across.
that I think it's not fair to the town to let the main building in our borough dilapidate.
Okay.
Okay,
You finished?
I am.
Any more public comments on agenda items?
Barney,
Sure.
I'd like to say regarding what Rick's saying, I know we're saying we have $20,000 in the budget, okay? But I agree, we have 800,000 extra. Plus, we have over $1 million in Pliget. If we have an interested party who's willing to rent, this hasn't just been brought up in the last 2 months. This has been, we met with them in August, Rob.
I mean,
Because
I
they
don't know
thought
if
they
they're
were
any
getting
longer, I don't
it in
think they're any
October.
longer interested in it though.
They wanted October 1st.
Right.
That building is so far from being rentable, I can't explain it.
I mean, the only thing that's really possibly rentable right now from what I've seen from my walk through in August, and I've been there since August,
Right.
is possibly the second floor is
Second
the
floor,
easiest
yeah.
one to fix up.
Second
The
floor. you
first
can probably-
floor is really a major.
Yeah, first floor is like really bad.
So,
I disagree.
So,
I think as usual, we don't talk, get input from everybody. We get input from 2, maybe 3. And I feel bad for the gal who was interested because she thought she was moving in October, as was Munhall Cares. And this is now February 18th and we haven't done anything. We're still wondering about the furnace and the water. But we have a fire station in there.
well, like Mr. Brennan said, maybe we should get another estimate on fixing the boiler. That's one estimate we got was, what, $50-some thousand? I mean, I gave a card to the manager about 4 months ago to someone, maybe we can give him a call. The ones that do the school district,
Right.
yeah, give him a call, get another estimate. Can we get another estimate between now and the next workshop?
Yeah,
Up to now, next week.
yeah. I'll talk about
Maybe
it.
we could talk about this at the March workshop.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And then
Yeah,
take some action on March council
Right.
meeting.
right,
You should have at least 3 estimates.
right.
Yeah, I think you
We
should
tried to
really
get a bunch
advertise
of
that.
advertising.
At that price,
Yeah.
yeah.
We tried to get a bunch of people, and no one was interested in trying to
Yeah,
fix.
maybe no one's
that-
interested in
that
it.
boiler. So.
Because of the
that's-
amount?
Right, we advertise.
We can advertise certainly, but I just want to clarify,
Thanks.
there was many attempts to get people, and no one wants to mess with that boiler.
Okay.
But we can advertise, we can try harder, and I'll talk with Bob about it.
Right.
But it's not like we just took the first person, we took the only person that was willing to even get.
Right,
the number.
right. It'll be hard to do. No doubt.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Items requiring council votes.
Well, I had a question and a statement.
At the podium, please.
Thank you. My name is Tammy Stolginskis. I'm a lifelong resident of Munhall, and I understand that you have an opening. I'm the chairman of the Still Valley Republican Committee,
Sure.
and I understand that you have an opening on council.
Yeah, we just had to accept the resignation tonight.
Oh, okay. Well, we would like you to give serious consideration to nominating a Republican. I don't want to misspeak, but I think that the political registration of all of members of council are Democrats. We would like to have a council that's representative of our borough. We see that we have a woman, and an African American, and we would like there to be a Republican. I've come as one of 4 candidates for that position. We have Tim,
Mhm.
Mary Kay, Pat, and myself. Is there an application process or?
Dave,
There is an
You
application.
taking letters?
Yeah, I'll take letters, resumes, whatever you want, and, yeah, I'll give you my card afterwards if you like, and you can send it to me directly.
We have 30 days to fill that, correct? So we need to schedule
30
the
days.
We have 30 days from today is the deadline for council to fill the vacancy. I think because the month of February is 28 days, I think it will fall exactly on our next voting meeting.
Okay.
I think. I
Yeah.
want to double check
I'm
that.
pretty sure it is, yeah.
So we could do it.
And who were your
30 days.
candidates? You mentioned yourself,
Tim,
Tim?
Mary Kay, Pat, and myself.
Okay, Pat? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wright.
Gonna sneak up here too, I'm sorry.
Sure.
Brad Patriga from Orchard Street.
You have 3 minutes.
Thank you. So the conversation about properties in Munhall, I know we talked briefly about the dilapidated properties that exist. I know that there's a lot of balls moving and circling in that direction. I'm grateful for council for acting on some of those issues. The two major things that I wanted to touch base with involve the tax incentive programs. I know last meeting they discussed the tax exoneration program and working with Steel Valley School District to get that rolling. What would be the next step? It sounded like some of the concerns that were expressed at the last meeting were resolved at the school board meeting. So for our purposes, what's the next step for Munhall?
Yeah, I mentioned that during my report.
Okay, sorry I missed that.
Okay, I guess you came late. I said that I had talked to David, I said what we want to do is get all the forms and the program materials that are used by the Borough of Homestead and the Steel Valley School District so we can evaluate that and make sure that council, if interested, implements the same program. Rather than trying to reinvent the wheel.
Yep.
Let's see what they have, forms they give to applicants, whatever materials, program materials they distribute. We'd like to see that. I don't think it should be an issue for them to share with us if we're going to join the same program. So that's the next step, in my opinion.
Great. And then the other program that I was curious that we brought up a couple times at meetings would be the LERTA program with the tax abatement schedule. I know that's something that's council has expressed interest in developing, but that obviously needs some steps in terms of drafting an ordinance to provide the tax incentive. My understanding is that Steel Valley is already going through this process and there will be some type of official tax abatement program in place by either March or April. My hope would be that Munhall would just jump on that as well and that we could combine these two programs. And of course, getting the county involved as well. The reason I'm interested in this is just because this will bring investment to the area, and especially in the form of new construction and business renovations and redevelopment. So I'm not sure if that's something that we've discussed as council, but is there a next step for that process as well? And who would be the?
Well, that's up to council if they want to do it. You need the school and the
We're
county
waiting
to
for the school, I know that.
participate.
That was the big hurdle, the school.
Yeah, they have to participate or it's a waste of
Right.
time.
Yeah.
Uh,
It sounds like they're going to do it, but I agree, I think getting some of the official documentation to the manager will probably be the next step. But my hope is that you would support a program like that to bring more investment into the area, especially in the form of new construction and vacant lots and
I
such.
couldn't agree more.
So, that's all I have, thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. All the expenditures for the month of January equals $556,111.86. Does not include payroll. One quick highlight here, the recreation line item is higher than normal because the County Library of Homestead received a grant from the state, which was a pass-through through us because they cannot apply for state grants directly. So the state gave us money, we gave it directly to, that's why that's a higher than normal. It's not normal to have that much of a budget for the recreation department. So that's, so the council need to vote on paying the bills except for payroll for $56,111.86.
Motion.
Second. Second.
All approved? All in favor? Any questions on that motion? None?
I just have a question on the, what you had mentioned at the workshop. When were you gonna print the balances and of the accounts, you were gonna have that online?
We have
When is
copies
that?
back there.
For the checks are back there currently. The balances are in the financial packet that council got last week for all the balances. I haven't had a chance to get the website updated yet to put a place for either that or the balances, but I'm working on that.
So
But
we are gonna put the balances on,
well, the
on there as
balances,
well?
I'm not sure about, but definitely the checks that are written are gonna be put online, but they're all back there right now
Okay.
And with copies of the checklist in the back,
for the month of January, yeah.
month of January.
Well, I think we should put the balances in there as well. That's my own personal opinion.
Okay. Council wants it, that's fine. All right.
Motion to approve payroll for the period ending January 2nd, 2025, $153,705.66. January 16th, $174,434.99. January 30th, $173,725.35. Grand total of $501,866,000.
Motion.
Second. Any questions on that motion? All in favor? All opposed?
One quick note, you'll notice that two of the pay periods are 20,000 more than average, that's because of all the snow removal. So that gives you an idea of how much we're spending on overtime for snow.
Vote for the expiration for the tax collector for 2024 taxes for $441,371.50.
Motion.
Motion is second. Any questions on that motion?
What does that mean?
Basically, the tax collector has collected so much money from the 2024. Of the remaining balance, 441,000 was not collected. And this basically exonerates her from being responsible for that. She's given the list to legal tax service and they're responsible now for collecting it. So it's just a procedural thing.
We do it every year.
Yeah, it releases her and eliminates then her right to collect these taxes. And then they're turned over to the delinquent tax collector. She's saying, I couldn't collect these, I collected everything else but this. So it is a routine motion and process.
And I will say, it sounds like a lot of money, which it is, but how much did she bring in?
She brought in
collects
about
like
90%.
96,000, yeah, 96% of what, is paid to the borough. She does one heck of a job, so yes, she's turning over that 441,000.
Number 4.
She really does her job, in my estimation.
All right, number 4, Gray's going to speak on that?
Vote.
Oh, vote.
No,
Motion?
Motion
got
dies. Just vote.
Vote. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Number 3 will dictate the land bank cost for 2026.
You have to come to the front, we don't speak from the back anymore.
Sorry, I apologize.
What's your question?
Motion number 3, that'll consist of the land bank cost
No,
for
you-
2026.
You can't question motion, that's only for council.
Okay.
You missed the vote.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
All right.
Keep things in order.
All right, so number 4, I am requesting the council amend that motion. Michael Miller, not to not hire him, but his test, to pass the MOPATEC exam, that's a municipal police officer's examination, which is required element for his hire. He hasn't been able to take the exam until I think later this month, is that all right, Chief?
Yeah, February 22nd.
February 22nd. So the motion is fine as is, but it should say, subject to successfully passing the MOPATEC examination, is my recommendation.
So you want to read it, the way you want to do it?
Yeah, I suggest that motion number 4 be revised to read, vote to hire Michael Miller as a full-time police officer for the Munhall Police Department, subject to successfully passing the MOPATEC police examination. That's MPOTEC is the acronym.
Any questions from council on that motion?
I make the motion. I'll
Motion,
second
second, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
All right, we've got advertisement for civil service exam for additional police officers for future hiring. There needs to be a motion for that as well.
We have a motion?
it. Motion.
Second? Motion and a second? Any
Second.
questions? Motion passes.
also advertise for a police promotion exam to basically promote an officer to sergeant from the existing qualified candidates. That's to be advertised as well.
I have a question on that motion. This is gonna be a new list or what?
For number 6,
Yeah,
yeah, we currently do not have a list for sergeant.
okay. Did we have one before it expired?
No, it hasn't been, well, it's probably been about 6 years.
So we don't have to keep one up to date every year, just when we need it?
Just for regular patrolmen you do, but not
Okay.
for sergeants for new hires.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Have a motion,
Tim Eads.
a second? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Also vote to hire a replacement for crossing guard, a backup crossing guard, if I'm not mistaken, right? William Zelonis.
Motion.
You
So
sure that's
is this
spelled out?
the,
We have a motion?
Second.
Questions on the motion?
Is that,
yeah,
Go ahead, Reed, hold on.
no, not very
Go
strong.
ahead, go ahead, Rich.
is that, just a backup for what we got?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be an alternate.
Okay, so, okay, that'll answer the question. I was gonna say, is this man leaving or is this the new hire? This is the new, if we accept him, this is the replacement.
He's just an alternate, in case we
Okay.
need that.
We'll be on call
Okay,
for if somebody's sick or call off.
okay. And we don't have any replacements right now?
We have one alternate right now, but we could use a
Did we
second.
vote on it yet?
Oh, we do have one.
Yeah.
I have a motion on the floor. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes.
Also, one of our public works employees will be retiring in March. And I would like to begin the process of advertising to replace that public works employee. There's a vote to advertise for a new public works employee.
Any question on that motion from council?
Yeah,
Go ahead,
what
Rich.
would be the starting date on that? Or,
It's just an advertise, so I mean, the starting date is whenever
You know, we need them.
process, goes through the process, so I imagine April, probably April, May.
Motion.
Motion and a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Additionally, advertise for 2 summer public work positions, we're doing it for our full-time employee. This is, which handles supplemental work during the summer of basically June through August.
How many do we have?
2 is what we hired in the past, right, Bob?
Yes.
Yes. 2.
We have that in the motion for 2?
Yeah.
Motion.
Motion and a second.
Second.
All in favor? All opposed?
The planning commission met again yesterday to officially vote on the subdivision for the plate mill site. Dave, do you want to add any context at all, or is PJ here?
No.
Okay. This was discussed at the workshop and also, just in the workshop last week. In your packets, there is the rough plan of the site, but the planning commission recommends the council to adopt it.
Motion.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
All right, this is, I don't know if you saw the agenda for today, Greg.
I did, yeah.
What came up last week was actually, they tried to have a quorum and they didn't, so they had to reschedule. And it seems like the commission is interested in having 7 as opposed to 9 members. So this is just ask the solicitor to please review the guidelines and step forward. with-
Yeah, I already looked at the borough code, it has to be done by ordinance. If the vote passes, I'll draft an ordinance, they can be advertised for council to make the reduction in size.
Motion.
Is there anything anywhere right now that we have to have 9 members? Because they don't remember ever having 9 members.
Yeah, it's stated in the borough ordinance, which created the planning commission, I don't know how many decades ago, said it shall consist of 9 members. But the borough code and the municipality's planning code said, if you have one, you're not even required to have one, but if you do, it needs to be between 3 and 9 members.
Right.
And in order to change the size, in this case decrease it, needs to be done by ordinance. So this was established by ordinance as 9 people decades ago when it was done. So if we want to change it, that's, we'll amend that ordinance.
Okay. We have a motion and a second.
Is the motion to amend the ordinance? Is that what you're asking for?
No, to instruct the.
No, to draft the ordinance.
Draft the ordinance.
Okay.
All in favor? All opposed? Motion passes.
And this is what nebulous, Greg, but basically, I would like to sit down with you at some point, we can look at the fees and figure out where we need to make.
Yeah, I thought about this too, so, and I researched to see if we have such an ordinance. We could have an ordinance which is really much more efficient, that establishes all the existing fees that we have for services, permits, everything, and it reaffirms those at the time it's adopted, and then it allows for updating, revisions, changes to those fees to be done by simple resolution. You don't have the required formality of an ordinance every time you change it. So my recommendation is that you have me draft an ordinance which will now reestablish all the fees, or whatever you want them to be for 2025, and then in the future you can change them by simple resolution, just by simple vote. I think we should have an ordinance like that.
Okay.
So a motion to instruct the
Direct me to
solicitor
prepare
to.
that ordinance.
Yeah, vote to have solicitor Vassar review the proposed updated schedule, prepare the corresponding ordinance. All in favor?
I just want to mention that I did talk with Dave.
Any questions on that
Ken.
motion? Go ahead, Bree.
I did talk to Dave Ken, and just so you're all aware, we do have a fee schedule dated January 1st, 2023. So this isn't that awful long ago that this was brought in. I'm glad we get your copy.
Right, but to
and-
make changes, we don't have an ordinance that's allowing individual changes to be done by a simple vote. That is adopted by ordinance. I'm saying it's cleaner and efficient and legally correct to do an ordinance that can affirm that.
Okay.
Reaffirm that, or if you want to change it, and then in the future, you can change any individual fee just by a simple vote of council.
That cleans it up a lot, makes it a lot
Yes,
easier down the
yeah,
road.
it does.
I also want to say that in last week's packet, we all received this from Homestead's fees, charges, and let me tell you, I don't know how many of you looked at this, but
Substantial.
I'm just saying, holy cow.
The reason I provided that last week
Put your
was,
thumb there.
I wanted council to take a look at it and see what fees we want to start incorporating in our own fee
Right.
schedule. It was
But
kind of
nowhere
guidance.
on here, Dave, like you, nowhere on here did you have.
Well, I mentioned at the time, so maybe people missed that.
I'd just like to say as well that just because Homestead has these fees, we don't have to adopt these fees.
No, we don't.
Just because they have third-party inspectors, we don't have to adopt a third-party inspector. We don't have to increase our costs for our residents. We don't have to collect fees so that we can make a percentage to make money for the borough. That's not what it's about. So go ahead, I thank you.
Do we have a motion on the, we have a motion?
No, motion for you.
Motion for number 12?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Number 13.
As you remember from the workshop last week, and you also have additional information in your packets, there is George, his last name is escaping me, but the representative from DCED came and described the process for joining this STMP program, STAMP program. We would need to authorize, the council would need to authorize joining this program. And then we can begin the process, the whole process. So,
Okay.
I don't know if there are any questions about it, if you had a chance to think about it, look at the information provided.
Any questions on that motion?
David, is this regarding the third-party inspector?
No, this is the guy that came from the state, remember?
Okay, but George was
George,
over
yeah.
here at the end.
Yeah, remember you asked, he wasn't a grant writer, remember? Right,
No.
that's him. He's from the state.
Newsome.
And if we George,
Make a motion.
Motion is second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Number 14.
This is a motion, we had two representatives from two companies last week to present their interest in becoming the borough's official third-party building inspectors. That would currently, as you recall, we do not require any specific building inspector, but anybody doing any kind of work has to go to a building inspector, but it's their choice who they go with.
Right.
Some people argue it's good to have a third party, some people argue it's fine how it currently is, but the council can vote to go with one of the two parties. One was VIU, one was CodeSys.
I think we should look at more.
We could also look at more as well, and I can try to get a couple more in here for next month.
Anybody have a problem tabling this for tonight?
No.
I have a comment.
Go ahead.
I don't think we know enough about what rates they have and to even vote on this. We need to find out, you know, really what the details of
So
what
we're gonna
they.
table it.
I know, I'm just making
All
a
right.
comment. Thank you.
So, I will get some more information then. So we probably need a motion to table.
Motion to table.
Motion.
All in favor of table?
Aye.
All opposed?
We really need it. They're in trouble.
At this time, we'll take any remarks for the good of the borough of Munhall.
Susie Collins. I just have a question about the open council seat.
Sure.
It was discussed maybe last month that it would be decided upon if this was going to be the length of Kevin's term or if it was going to be re-up for election. Was that decided upon?
Well, I couldn't, until it was officially adopted, I couldn't actually talk to the county, right?
Election
County.
It's the county election department.
So
that
once,
ultimately
now I
makes
can
that
reach out to
decision.
them, then we can get answers.
I don't know, yeah, they'll decide, is there enough time to get it on the May ballot for the primary? I don't know. But and we talked about it because there's a form that has to be submitted, the open council seats, and I said, well, until this is accepted by council, because Mr. Rondo also had the right to withdraw that up until this vote. So it wasn't technically open until tonight. So the county elections department will answer that when David contacts them and says, we now have an open seat. I don't know if it can get on the May ballot. If not, it'll be for another 2 years.
I don't think it'll be on the May ballot for the reason is this is the 4-year term. 4 people were elected to council this time. That would make a 5th, and that would make things very complicated.
Well, they sometimes, yeah, they put it on for 2 years. I've seen them
It'll
do
be a
that.
2-year term,
I've
okay.
seen that, to keep the numbers balanced. But it's not decided by the county though.
Okay, I just didn't know if there was an update to that. And then a follow-up question. So the official process right now is to submit a letter of intent to you. And then that's going to be decided upon, or is that discussed at the next workshop meeting and then voted upon afterwards? That's the process.
It has to be voted on a regular meeting.
Yeah, it'll be discussed at the, or before, but definitely next workshop it will be discussed on, but yeah.
And is there any advertisement for it that people would know that it's an open?
We can't advertise till tonight. That
But
was
that
official.
will
Yeah, we're
happen.
gonna
I
advertise.
can put an advertisement on this.
Sure, yes.
I just know that not everybody comes to the meeting, and it
Right.
was publicized on the Munhall community page, but I don't know that everyone knows that it's an option.
Right.
Well, that's probably the best way to get the information out anyways.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I will take a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Motion, second. All opposed? Meeting adjourned.